Welcome back, dear viewers. Continuing Gamal TV's coverage of the visit of Brazilian President Lula da Silva at Ittihadiyya Palace, where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met him today. The Brazilian president is currently in an official visit to Egypt, which coincides with the 100th anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations between the two countries. And dear viewers, in this context, we are joined over the phone by former Assistant Foreign Minister, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi. Mr. Ambassador, a very good day.
Good afternoon. How are you?
It's a pleasure, dear Ambassador, to be with us. Sir, what is the importance of the visit in light of the ongoing challenges in the Middle East?
I am so happy for this visit because I was privileged to serve in Brazil at the last days of its old capital, Rio de Janeiro. I have witnessed the movement from Rio de Janeiro to Brasilia. And
Sir, you were there at that point, you mean?
Pardon?
You were there at that point?
Yes, yes. So I stayed in Rio as a consul general, and I continued there. I have many happy memories about this wonderful country, which is very friendly. They love us. They love the Egyptian old history, and I cannot explain enough when we have some pictures about the old Egyptian history, queues of students from universities or schools who are seeking to have some pictures about Egypt. Also, another reason that the Brazilian army was serving in the United Nations forces for peacekeeping in Gaza. So they came back with very good memories about Palestine and Egypt. Another reason that we have a big Palestinian community in Brazil, more than 40,000 inhabitants by that time. And we have Lebanese and Syrian community, which is very rich, and they are very active in trade and in industry. Also, our small Egyptian community there is very eminent, professors in some universities or very important engineers here and there.
Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, how do you read and evaluate at this point in light, of course, of the ongoing situation globally and, of course, in the Gaza Strip and in Palestine? How do you read the coordination between Egypt and Brazil on supporting the Palestinian cause
very important.
and Egypt's utmost efforts to end war on Gaza?
That Brazil and in general the countries of Latin America are voting with us all the time. They are with the Palestinian cause. So it's not strange to me that Brazil is supporting the Palestinians in their struggle for their freedom. And it's traditional, it's well known as the United Nations that the group of Latin American countries, they are always supporting the Palestinian question. So it's not strange. But what I am seeking now is to enlarge these relations in the field of economy, because during my time, the trade relation was not that big. Now I am happy to hear some eminent numbers or figures. And here our President and President De Silva will make a point to enlarge our trade relations, our industrial relations, and the human relations also, because of this very important visit. And I really, you of course are following the news about Egypt being a new member to the BRICS, where Brazil is the oldest country in this BRICS. So we have all the reasons
How do you
to
see,
make this relation much better.
President, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, how do you relate Egypt as being a member in the BRICS and Brazil as the head, or although as one of the oldest members of the BRICS? How do you read this and the iconic situation in this?
It is one additional step towards liberalizing our economy. You know that we have a similar agreement on the level of Africa. We have one African Union and one big free trade area in Africa, 1,200 million inhabitants. We have another with the Arab world, of course, 400 million inhabitants, and our largest free trade area association agreement with Europe. So the BRICS is coming as a source of additional to this, although the BRICS is not a free trade area. It is concentrating on investment, and they have investment bank, which we can depend on to finance many of our new projects. And I think Brazil will never hesitate to cooperate with Egypt in this field.
How do you read, sir?
That we are inviting Brazil to come to manufacture its products in the Suez Canal zone. And if they do so they are very near to the Far East market. Instead of sending the merchandise from Sao Paulo up till here, it's a long road. Now we are inviting people in the position of Brazil to come either to produce on our land or at least to store, because if you want to buy sugar or coffee, Brazilian coffee, which is very famous, you don't have to go to Rio de Janeiro. You can go to Beirut. They have stores there, and we are inviting them to do the same here in our Suez Canal zone.
How do you read, Mr. Ambassador, Egypt's joining and existence as a member in the BRICS and the importance of our membership, or the Egyptian membership?
As I said, it is an additional step to liberalize our economy. Here it is a good message to the investor. We are telling the new investor coming to Egypt that Egypt is not the market of 100 million inhabitants. No, we have a market of 2,000 million inhabitants in Africa, in Latin America, in the Arab world, and in the European Union. Because all our products are treated free of tax in all these countries. So Brazil is going to be becoming another partner in this effort. So it's a big gain for us and for Brazil.
The most important sectors of investment, sir, that investors will target in Egypt through the BRICS?
Yes, I said it is investment, and I hope that we can attract industries to come and to establish their industries.
Yes, sir. My question was, from your own perspective, what do you think are the main sectors that investors are going to be targeting here in Egypt?
I hope, because Brazil have a good experience in manufacturing cars.
Manufacturing of cars.
Of car in the world which is not produced in Brazil. They have all the famous trademarks of car industry produced in Brazil, and we can gain from this experience, of course. And as you will know, that Egypt is a large importer of cars. If we produce a car in Egypt, getting the nationality of Egypt for such a product, we can export it all over the world, exempted from any custom duties. This is one side of the cooperation we can depend on.
Sir, what are
we have experience in agriculture, where I can tell you many experiences of Egyptians gave their experience in agriculture to Brazil, and to establish new farms in Brazil with commodities which Brazil do not produce, such as citrus, oranges, dates, or watermelon. All these products are not produced in Brazil, and some Egyptians tried previously to produce it in Brazil itself.
Sir, what are the urgent files in discussion between President Sisi and Brazilian President Silva?
Yeah.
What are the urgent files on the discussion, or on top of priorities from your own perspective between both presidents?
Yes, of course, I am sure that the Palestinian question is on top of our interest all over our discussions with any partner coming here. And here we are privileged that the Brazilians are in a well position to know exactly what's going on in Palestine and the aggression against Gaza. Because, as I said, because this history of Brazil involved in the peacekeeping forces in Gaza, so they know the question quite well. And you may know that Brazil is always voting with us in the United Nations and everywhere for the Palestinian cause. So the Palestinian file is on top of our interests in the problems of our political concern.
Okay, sir, how do you see Egypt's participation in the G7 meeting 2024? Of course, upon the invitation of Brazil, the Brazilian president.
I am happy that in every time that Egypt is well recognized as an important country, which many countries are seeking to invite Egypt to attend such important meetings, whether the G7 or the G20. Our president went to Tokyo for one occasion like that. He went to Paris for such thing, and so on. So, of course, Brazil, when it will host one of those events, our president will be highly welcomed because he represents one very important country in its area.
Former Minister, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, of course, we could not thank you enough for this informative knowledge that you added to this important visit, of course, by the Brazilian president to Egypt, and the press conference that was held this a few minutes ago between President Fattah al-Sisi and Brazilian President Lula da Silva at the Ittihadiyya president, where Fattah al-Sisi, of course, discussed the current situation and diplomatic relations between the two countries, and this coincides with the 100th anniversary of establishing the relations. Dear viewers, we will be with you with all the coverage. I'm Rana Khassas. Thank you very much.
Egypt opens up to the world. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with world leaders.
أعبر لكم عن خالص الشكر والتقدير على حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة.
Reaffirming Egypt's vision, delivering our voice abroad.
لتطوير التعاون الثنائي الاقتصادي والعسكري إلى مستويات غير مسبوقة.
Discussing regional and